And we're live. Welcome to my trading journal today, April 24th, Wednesday. Had a little bit of news this morning at 7:30. I'm Central Time. That's 8:30 Eastern Time. I didn't do a whole lot. And I think that's the only real news of the day, other than it is oil inventory report day. So we'll keep that in mind for oil. I did take one really good trade already this morning. You can see I changed my open range indicator a little bit, and I removed the box because this box, it puts the dots around here, and then I can't see the wicks of the candles, and it just is kind of annoying. So it lets me leave the midline on, right, which is the line that I'm most interested in anyway. So I took those lines off, left the midline, then I just manually put in a little line to represent the top of that opening range. So the open range where'd it go? So the open range in gold formed. Here's our news candle. Just kind of wicked around a little bit. We came down back to the midline. We wicked down below and we closed up above. So I didn't originally have my order above this candle that touched the midline because I was a little cautious. We were coming up into a 15-minute fair value gap. Show that. However, this is the fair value gap right here. However, we had been kind of up and down through it, so it had been pretty abused. But I was still cautious, so that's why I didn't just jump into it. Then, once we closed really strongly, and we really kind of started to push up a little bit, I said, well, if we come down for a retest, which is what gold likes to do, it likes to bounce around a lot, I'm going to go ahead and get in. So I just put my order one tick above that candle. And you see two entries. That's because I got in for 3 contracts. I proved this entry out pretty well. So, you know, when you find a good entry, there's no reason for you not to capitalize on it. But I did reduce my risk by not copy trading this trade. So I only did it in one account. And the accounts I'm trading right now are evaluation accounts. So the thought process being, I really just want to get them passed, right? I probably wouldn't do that in a funded account. I'd stick with one contract. But really, these are TopStep accounts. Most you can really make in a TopStep evaluation, $50,000 evaluation account is $1,500 in a day. I had a 60 tick target, so I said, well, 3 contracts, right, is $1,800. That's pretty close. So that's why I chose that. And then I figured, well, if we stop out 23 ticks, that's basically going to be my daily loss limit, and I'll move to another account, right? Again, taking the same entries I would take on a live account, but leveraging up a little bit more just so I can get the silly accounts passed. Since I've been practicing this trade a long time, and it works really well most of the time. This time it worked really well. First time it came down, it only filled one contract, and then it came back down, filled the other 2, and then really quickly just pushed right up there. Hit my 60 tick target, which was right in front of the overnight open there. And I really just had the 60 ticks because that's what I wanted to make off of the thing. But if you look at the 100%, 100% did get hit right here. You know, the risk is that we reject off the overnight open and come all the way back down potentially. So that's another reason, you know, I even if I wasn't just looking at basically trading my P&L and saying this is how much I need, you know, this is the most I can make really. I probably would have put my target either at the overnight open or just below it, in case we got a rejection. Now it did reject, it did pull back a little bit before it did push up and hit that target. So yet again, it hits that 100% mark. So that was the trade this morning. It worked out pretty well. $1,800 on that trade. That's $1,800 on one account. I see a lot of streamers post their profits as cumulative, which is not wrong. I'm not saying that's not the way to do it. I only post mine based on the leader account. So whatever the leader account made in the day, that's the number that I post. Because it could change if you're you're copying one account or multiple accounts. The other reason is really the way I trade up until today is I trade them all together. So, a win in one account is a win in all accounts. I think most people don't do that. Most people trade them in, groups of 3 or 4 or 5 accounts, or even one at a time. So in that case, you could have wins and losses throughout, and I guess it makes sense to total that up for the day, but I just show my leader account. Whatever my leader account makes, that's the number that I use. So I'm not sure what I'll do today if I don't hit that $1,800 in the other 3 accounts. Not trying to be, not trying to fudge the numbers or anything. So full disclosure, yesterday, after I actually had a pretty good day on stream, I continued to trade and ended up hitting my daily loss limit in those accounts. So, yet again, we learned the lesson that when you're up, just take the win and go home. Anyway, so we're trying to we're catching up a little bit here because of that. All right, well, that is gold. Oil down here is working on creating its open range. I may look at taking some trades off of the 5-minute inside bar on oil, just because I've seen that work pretty consistently well the last little while. So we'll see how that shapes up, especially now that I've decoupled my 3 accounts and we're just going to trade them one at a time. All right, gold is still pushing. And really in gold, where I want to get to is to where I just kind of hold these things and say, okay, well, we had this deep pullback. We had a close higher, so let's move our stop up to here. We had pullback with a close higher, move our stop up to here. I'm not quite to this level yet, so we'd lock in 41. We'd say, okay, we're pushing up. Really the idea is to see where it goes, which means it could pop up, come back out, and you don't get as much, but some days it can just go and go and go and go and go. So if you want a lot of little intermediate size wins, that's fine. If you want maybe more smaller wins with an occasional total home run, well, that's the trade-off. I don't think you can have it both ways. Oh, NQ. Where are we at on NQ? NQ is kind of interesting. Let's expand this a little bit. Yeah, see, this is me blowing up accounts. That's embarrassing, folks. Oh. This is where we traded and made money. This is where we traded and lost money. Don't do this. I mean, look at this yesterday. This is just... I have a very love-hate relationship with NQ. Break even, win. Was this still on stream? Yeah, I think this was still on stream, right? So these 3, this was on stream. And then here, I don't know why I bought there. I'm not even going to diagnose all that nonsense. That's just horrible. That's horrible trading. Don't ever trade like that. Anyway, the point of this, where have we been this morning? Asia, continued up. 81 points. And then we kind of rolled back over to the overnight open. And here this morning, we've been to the top of London and back to the bottom. See where this goes in the open. The other thing we had is we did have a gap up this morning. So if we look at this, or last night, I guess. So we closed here and we opened up here. So this is our gap. Came down and filled a lot of it in the Asia session, but I'm probably actually going to draw a line over here just so we can see this. If we come down for a gap fill, that's where we would anticipate it coming to. There we go. Sitting on the London low right now. So this is interesting. Oil pushed up here. So we were at the overnight open. We fell through it after retesting it a couple of times. This morning pushed back up, but didn't quite get there. We were, what, 3 ticks away? That's pretty close. So we're going to keep an eye on that in case it wants to come back up. And yeah, because if we are moving higher, it could come down here for some liquidity before pushing up. We shall see. I think I'm going to adjust this indicator to the same as I did the other one. And take away our box. The box line, that is. Still have the midline there. I'll just use that as a point of reference. And then we can make our candle wicks one again. Much better. Okay. Let's wait and see what happens. Wait and watch. Okay, there's our range for oil. It's actually looking pretty good. We got this kind of midline matched up with this nice big fair value gap matched up with our average lines right in the middle of it. So if we come up to that midline and get a retest, I think that could be a nice entry with some confluence there. We'll see what it does. Okay, there's a tap of the bottom of the range in oil. And this is why I'm very cautious about just blindly entering a break. Depending on your order type, you may or may not have been filled if that was what you were doing there. And it may still fail, but especially in oil, I really like to see a failed break with a retracement and then get in off the pullback. You know, one out of 10 times or something like that, it will just blow out the bottom, or the top, it'll just immediately break out. But I've been burned by that too many times. So I'd rather miss the 1 in 10 than get burned to the other 9. Okay, gold is back down to the top of the range. Huge, pretty strong drop there. See what kind of reaction we get.
Order filled.
That was loud. Order filled. Hey, we'll try this retest. It's in a different account. After a strong pullback like this, coming off the overnight open, this is probably lower probability, but we're going to give it a try. See if we can't get back up to the overnight open at least. Got a nice bounce off the bottom here in oil too. All right, I did move my stop to break even because I'd. There we go. Yeah, we're out. Okay. See how this plays out though. I'm just really cautious after this strong push down like that. It's not ideal, but we gave it a chance to push up a little bit. I think at most we were up 13 or something, so pretty small. Wait for a better one there. Okay, there's the midline in oil. Let's see how it responds. Pretty small candle. It's only a 9-tick candle. The opening range is 55 though. So we have a retest of the midline. Went ahead and took that break lower. See what she does. I think yeah, I don't know. Not totally sold on this one, but that's the entry, so we'll take it and see what happens. Stop loss is at 83.13. I'm going to give it a tick or two above the wick of this candle just in case we get some wild wick up. So that's 12 ticks. This one is certainly taking its time. Going nowhere. All right, we're opening up in NQ. And push back up to the top of London. We're just running laps around the London session this morning. I'm leveraged up in this position, so I'm only looking for 30 ticks. So 30 ticks is down at 62, well, a little more than that, I guess. Looking for 32, so my limit order's down here at 82.69. Oh, I didn't quite get there. Came 3 ticks short on that candle. We are moving our stop to break even since we tapped to the bottom of the range. Now it's pulling back hard. We'll see. Move my target up to that, tightening up my stop, and move my target to this line here, because I don't like that reaction, so if we come back down and it gives me the opportunity to get out at the bottom of the range, we'll do that. Otherwise, we'll get stopped out here. There it is. That's not bad. I'm a little disappointed that came like 3 ticks from my target. Went 29 and I had mine at 32. It was that close from hitting my arbitrary number picked out of the air. Of course, now watch it turn around and come down, which it very well may do. This signals a potential reversal though, so that was what gave me pause. So I'm all right with that. 2 good wins for the day. So one thing that I notice now as I look at this, we had a nice little fair value gap created on this push down, which was respected. So really I should have used that to say, okay, if we get a close above that, then I should stop out. But if it comes back for a retest, then that wouldn't be something we, should be surprised by. So note that for future. I guess I shouldn't have stopped out of this trade either. Look at this. It went sideways for a long time. But we pushed back up. Just never know what this overnight open is going to do. All right, well, it's time for a short break. I'll be back in just a second. See, the Cubs won yesterday, so I got to get on and order my free food from Chick-fil-A. What are they giving away? 4-count chicken minis. Okay. All right. All right, well, oil is working on a 5-minute inside bar. If this forms up, I might just take this one today. We'll see. All right, well, I guess we're in on that inside bar. We'll see how this shapes up. I like that it correlates with the bottom of the range. I do not like, though, how we're kind of bouncing around here, so we'll see. Okay, all right. It's giving us a little bit of a break. Now, I don't need much on this trade, so I'm not going to keep it to like... I'm not going to hold it to where its target would normally be. So based on the inside bar strategy parameters, I think 22 ticks would be the stop loss and profit on this one. I just need 10 ticks off of the thing though. So 82 down to 72. 71, cover commissions. It's got to come down to here for me. That would be ideal. There you go. Just does not want to go all the way down quite yet. What is down here that's got you spooked? That's what I don't understand. So we're sitting below this level here. It's that low. So my target line, which appears to be crooked, would be not quite to this low here. We're holding down here, so I don't really see a reason why we shouldn't continue a little ways. But the market's going to do what the market's going to do. Little news icon at the bottom of my screen. If I hover over it, it pulls all the news headlines that I don't care about up. Well, that's a candle that'll shake people out. Look at that. That's crazy. Big old wick on that guy. Good thing my stop's way up here at 83.06. So it's like way up here, which I don't know. We'll see. Not really liking this a whole lot. That was a kind of a nice reaction there. See if that means anything. All right, what else is going on in the world here? NQ's just trickling up. Gold, another retest of the top of the range. Some construction truck outside driving by that's making some really strange noises. There's a lot of building going on in our neighborhood, so lots of activity outside. Well, this is not looking good for this inside bar trade at all, is it? If we were to see, what did we have? Had a little bit of this trend here. So our last line of defense here is our red line. See if our red line holds up. Right now we're 15. Excuse me. Yeesh. Oh, 15, 16 ticks behind. All right, so we need this gap to fail. If this gap holds, then we probably jump out of this one a little bit early because the odds are not in our favor. So far it is holding. All right, that's good. Come back down. Come back down. Okay, NQ, back to the midline. Back to the gold line. Back to the London high. This is a nice spot for NQ, I think. Uh-oh. Oil gap's holding. While NQ is failing. Wow. That gap is only 4 ticks. It's a very small gap. Seems like it's bigger than that, but it's not. It's just tiny. All right, well, NQ fell completely through the open range. Back down to that London midline. Don't really see any entries yet, though. I mean, everything in oil seems to indicate that it doesn't want to come down right now. But we're already in it deep, so we might as well just let it play out. Oh, there we go. And it ripped right back up. I don't know what it wants to do right here. Really not liking the price action in oil. It's fairly impulsive. Push down, rip back up, push down, rip back up. That was a strong push down and an equally strong sort of pull back up on this candle here. And it came down almost to break even, like 1 or 2 ticks away from break even. Then it's wild. It pulls right back up to the top of this. Whatever that level is there seems to mean something. Yeah, you could just wick down to here if you wanted to. That would be perfectly acceptable to me. All right, well, there's a close below that level. So maybe. How long have we been in this trade? Since 46, and we're now at 05. So for, what's that, 20 minutes? Ah, food's here. Thank you. Free Chick-fil-A food. Never turn down free food. Well, I'm trying to not to just close this trade just because I'm tired of watching it. We had a wick up. We had a wick up. This was a lower one. So we're still kind of coming down, but we're now starting to wedge up this way. And we've been kind of sitting here, so I don't think it's looking good. Got long wicks on the bottom of the 5-minute candles. So lots of indecision here. Guess we'll wait and see if the indecision plays out in our favor or not. Right now it's leaning towards not. It's a nice red line trade in Q. Came bounced off the red line, bottom of the range, midline, or the mid London session. Nice push up. All right, all right. I'm mostly just hanging out in this trade for the potential of it being very satisfying to have sat through this thing for so long and then have it work out. If we sit through it for this long and it doesn't work out, well, that'd be disappointing, but I don't think, I think the satisfaction of having waited it out to a win would overweigh the unfortunate circumstances where we take a loss, which, I mean, at this point, if I had to grade this, I would say the probability that we take a loss on this one is much greater than the probability that we take a win. What I would love to see at this point is a push up here a little bit and then have it fall through. That'd be okay. So stop loss is at 06. Let me put a line there. Probably shouldn't put a line there because if I put a line there, it'll probably try and come get it. Let's make it red. That's the stop loss line. Slowly work pushing our way up here. NQ's just running sideways. I I don't see anything here. Need to go refill my water glass. I don't see anything here worth... Yeah. So we filled the bottom, we pushed up, we're retesting the midline, the gold line. I mean, there's potential if this goes long that we could break out of this, but well, the 5-minute chart on oil is just like inside bar, inside bar, inside bar, inside bar. It's winding up, getting ready to go somewhere. Let's hope it decides to go south. Okay, that was a good little push. See if it can push down without wicking all the way back up again. Seems to be its preference recently. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that line. I don't really know where that line should be. Come on, oil, you're so close. Not that far away. This is the first kind of fair value gap we formed in oil in several minutes here. Although they're not really being respected, we're sort of trading both sides of them, so I'm not sure how valid that is, but I do like that this pushed down and took out kind of this low here. And we got an equal low with this candle here. I don't know. This may still work out. Move our 71 line over here. Let's make it green so we know it's a target. Is there some rule for the inside bar trade that says if it goes sideways for like an hour that you go ahead and just cut it? Because it's kind of where we're headed. We're coming up on oil inventory is here in like 10 minutes. So, which way do we think the oil inventory is going to send it? It's really what this comes down to. And it could send it both ways. The nice thing is where price is now, we're like kind of at the 50-50 mark, right? Between our stop loss and our target. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right, well, I'm going to go off camera here for a second. I'm going to eat my food while we watch this play out. Wait for oil inventories to show up and either stop us out or maybe hit our target. Then we'll wait for the 950 macro in NQ, see if it wants to do something. So I'll be back in just a sec. All right, moment of truth. Moment of inevitability. And stopped out. All right, so we did get stopped out finally on this guy. Too bad. Now let's watch what happens here. Didn't even go 10 ticks in my direction. Sad little trade. It's looking good there for a minute. Well, now we're back up to the midline. Testing the midline and my free Chick-fil-A was amazing. See if we can get a trade to match my free Chick-fil-A. Don't know. My bias in NQ is fairly unclear. On the daily chart, we're in a little bit of a pullback after several down days. At this point, it kind of looks like we're just consolidating. Well, we are just consolidating. All right, so there's the new. So that's interesting. So the oil inventory didn't actually do anything until the 32 candle. Boy, gold has just been bouncing between the overnight open and the top of the range. So if we'd have held that, we could have had it. Taken a short, taken a long, taken a short, taken a long. Just ping-ponging back and forth. Still happy we got our one trade out of gold this morning that worked out just as we had hoped it would. All right, for a P&L update, the account that was trading gold is up $1,800. The account that's trading oil is down $700. We had a win and a loss. Of course, now it looks like maybe it is coming down after all. But we'll give the news some time to cool off here. No real trades in these conditions. We need it to kind of start to move, even though I guess technically, let's see, what did we do? We came up, we retested. Well, this would be a super long stop, but this technically is a retest. Ugh. It's a little skewed because of the size of the candles. So we're gonna go in light on this. And we're going to, it's kind of an ugly retest of the midline. We're going to target at least that overnight open up there. There we go. We're going to add, excuse me, add into our position there. We can get a little more out of this guy. Can move my stop to break even on the original position on night at 83.19. Cautious of rejection here, though. This was a really strong reach up, so sometimes those reaches up, they're either going to blow through or they're going to reject hard. So the fact that we're sitting here doesn't make me feel great. Love to see this close above the prior candle to, yes, and here's our rejection. See what this does. Yeah, let's put some extension markers on here while we wait for this to play out. Just to... So our 100% line, where we to get up there, is 83.92. I'm going to go ahead and put my target right there, just in case. That's a pretty... I know I measured this already, but what was the range? 54. So that's a decent size range. All right, let's watch this unfold. There we go. A little bit of a push is a good thing. All right, let's maximize this so we can keep an eye on it. As long as we hold above the top of the range and above the overnight open, I think I'll let it play out. we get to this 50% mark, then I will move my stop to break even on the entire position, which is, that spot is currently at 83.34. Let's add a line for that. 83.34. This is my break even position, essentially. Let's make that one yellow. It's not really good or bad, it just is. Ooh, is that kind of ugly? Can't even see that. All right, we'll make it green. Whatever. Oh, daily loss limit hit. Boom. That was unfortunate. Had a nice push off of that, though. All right. Let's drop that back down here. Okay, let's see. So we're back down to the red line here. Took a nice rejection off the overnight open in oil. We're going to take that red line rejection, or I'm going to take that red line rejection with a very small position. Tight stop loss just below this pivot low. See what it does. This was a strong push down, so this may not. See what it does. I don't know. The other thing is we had a breakout, a failed breakout of the range, fell below the midline. This could be a retest of the midline down. So this could go either way at this moment in time. Yeah, I see nothing in NQ. Don't really like that we're holding below that midline. But it hasn't stopped us out yet. It looks like gold is on its way back up. I think we'll play out this oil trade and then call it a morning. Need to go stretch my legs, get some blood moving. All right, there's the 200% in gold. Again, it started with a push off the open range. Boom. Those opening range levels, the high, low, and midpoint, pretty good. In fact, you could have taken an entry off each one of them and done just fine. Maybe this one failed, but this one worked. Made up for it many times over. think once we break the high of that fair value gap, I'm going to move to break even. If we get there. Maybe 16 ticks from my entry. All right, I did move my stop loss up just one tick below this kind of doji candle here, so that puts me just 4 ticks risk. Not really liking this much, but and there's the stop. So not a surprise that one didn't work out. We'll see if we come back later and realize that and find out that a stop below here would have held. Then we can reevaluate. Out there, it would have been taken out there. So again, this one was a little more questionable because we were taking, this is essentially rejection off the overnight open down. So taking a trade back into it, lower probability. Here we did break the midline, came back up just above it, and now we're failing down below. So it could be that we flip the script and fail the bottom this time around. But I'm going to take a break. We had a really good trade in oil, iron, gold. Honestly, this is the trade, right, that every day I'm waiting to take, and I haven't really been successful at it yet. Or not very often. And today I'll call this a success, right? I took my profit early, but I took it because that's really the most I can make in that account. So making any more would have actually caused me troubles. But, geesh, could have taken a bounce every time it hit that top of that range, and it worked. It never failed it. Right, if I were to look at this one, and obviously this is the one I took. It went sideways for a while. That's fine. If you notice, a better one has some other candle confirmation, right? So we have an inside bar closing on its high, a little bit more of a positive indication there. That one works out quicker, right, than this one does. It goes sideways before it hits the overnight open. So that's 37 away. Here you could have, I mean, this is okay, but we just barely touch it. And since this one fell through, you know, I don't know, maybe wait. But if you had waited, you would have got this really nice setup right here. Again, stronger down close candle, wick below, another candle closing on its high within the body of this down close candle. And taking the break of that would have got you there too, and that plus some, right? So good price action in gold today. Not so good in NQ. Oil was a little trickier. And so that's where we're at. So recap the P&L. If we were to do this, you'd say, here's my gold account, $1,800. Here's my oil account, down 990, which is essentially the daily loss limit there. And then down just $50 on that one. Well, this was an oil trade too, so I guess they're both oil accounts, but down just $50 on that account. So that's it for this morning. Have a good day, everybody. We'll